What's good, what's good, what's good? It's your boy Micah back again with another motherfucking YouTube video. I apologize for not putting up a video yesterday. Busy with some things, but we back again and we're just gonna hop right into it. It's gonna be kind of short, but I think it'll provide some good information for you. Some things you young necromancers need to know that some older necromancers really miss concerning necromancy. First thing is the connection that love has to your work, your necromancy. If you're truly resonant with the path that you're trying to walk, you need to have a fucking undying love for the dead that you work with and for the path in general. This goes beyond just emotional fluff type shit. You know, it's like a physical 3D relationship, but it's not at the same time. Like, this work is a labor of love, but it relies on more than just feeling it, so to speak. Because, as we all know, given the way that us humans are, some days we may feel it, some days we may not feel it as intensely. But there's a deeper underlying devotion to the path as you continue to walk it that goes a long way and is an offering of devotion and dedication itself to the spirits. I said this in a different video that the world of the dead is just that, a world unto itself that spans this plane and the other planes, and that the dead talk. So before you even go to a different system with a different group of dead, they already know about you and your motivations and who you are and that kind of thing. And this undying love connection, so to speak, it translates into respect for the dead. Even if it's the most quote-unquote mindless entity that you're working with, you still see and realize the spark, the divine spark it still has that allows it sentience. That way you're not caught off guard when, you know what I'm saying, it decides not to do work for you or whatever. You don't necessarily see it as a act of mutiny or treason or what have you. You see it as, okay, maybe this spirit saw that I don't need to be focusing on this target, but I can focus on this target because they're connected and they're the more prevalent piece of the puzzle. Feel me? Your interpretations of how the dead act start to change and start to clear of any delusions, of any bullshit that we get from myth, lore, cartoons, and all the other kind of crap. As you walk your path further and further and further, you will start gaining a resonance to such a degree to where you can comprehend and understand how the dead feel and why they feel the way they feel. And that will make it all that much easier for you to work with them. You can start feeling emotion on different levels, not just human either. You can, when you start working with the death gods and you really get deep into this shit, you can start feeling emotion, how they feel with enough work, shadow work, all that good shit. You start feeling undead hate, undead love, the kind of love that's so strong that now you can definitely break it apart across planes, that kind of thing. You can even start feeling this on a more demonic level as you get into sorcery deep. There's been times where I've felt a form of demonic love and was able to really fucking talk with demonic entities, understand the composition of their energy body, how they work, why they appear the way they do, that kind of thing. On that note, the demons. You see a lot of people these days working with demonic entities like it's a fucking Twitter trend or some shit. Some claim to have sexual relations with particular demons, that's how they get their work done, and all the other kind of shit. Some people claim to be embodiments of different demons, which some are, like that to a degree is legit. Some are actual incarnations of various demons and shit. You got other people who claim that they're the son of XYZ demon or whatever. But if you notice in their work, after a while, they start to look empty and hollow, and not in a good way. It's kind of like a botched demonic transfiguration taking place. Botched, of course, by their own ego, their own misinterpretation of what's going on, and the way they go about working with the demons based on the way they perceive them subconsciously. So For you necromancers, when you start crossing demonic powers with your deathly and necromantic work, you need to realize that demons are the embodiment, the masters of their own magic. Just like Lilith, for example. Lilith and Nema are masters of sexual magic, their own essence. They have mastered their energy body, they have mastered their minds, they have mastered all that shit. And when you start perceiving things the way they do, whether it's through invocation or just basic meditation and relating to them, freaking you start to understand and get a glimpse of why they can see the amount of possibilities that they can see. It's because up to this point in time, from centuries and millennia ago, they have become one with their shit. They have mastered their shit intensely. And you find that those who truly work with them, who truly really do this demonic form of ascension, becoming one with your magic, and one with the essence of your magic, that kind of thing, you find that, yeah, they have a somewhat empty and hollow look, but inside that emptiness and hollowness is flames. The flames of fire is the essence of their magic. And you start to develop that on your own. It's the same thing with the deathly magic. So, kind of moving on from there. One thing that is a key to really mastering your magics, your spells, etc., is the ability to relax and slow down. Simple as that. When I say slow down, you're slowing down your perception, your clairvoyance, your third eye, so you can actually get glimpses as to what is going on with your spell that you're doing. This way you'll get clearer visions. You'll be able to tap into meditation deeper. You hit various vibrations and flames and all that other kind of shit. So it really comes down to relax. Relax your body, relax your mind, relax the flow of energy going through. And then, after you do that, you have to release subconscious control over whatever it is that you're doing. One issue that I struggle with myself is not realizing it, but having such a tight control over whatever it is I was doing that I was actually impeding the process of what I was trying to accomplish, i.e. vampirism, the death spell, sending death essence somewhere, that kind of thing. And this comes from, it's kind of like a solar plexus thing, because if you know about the chakras, you know, solar plexus relates to the need to control and all that kind of shit. So it's really a matter of releasing that subconscious mental grip you have on your task and getting out of your own way. Once you do this, you'll find that your vampirism flows automatically. You won't have to focus, let's say, on your hand in order to pull the energy in. It will happen on its own, and then all of a sudden you'll notice, okay, I'm starting to feel an inflow of energy, that kind of thing. Now, at the same token, you need to have some measure of control, just in case, for example, the flow gets too intense. You don't get too hyper. You don't take in gunk, parasites, and all the other kind of shit if you're doing vampirism. So it's a balance. It's like a dance, so to speak. You have the control, but you release control at the same time in order to accomplish whatever it is you need to accomplish. That's one thing a lot of necromancers miss, actually, that you do control the dead, but you don't control the dead at the same time. That's actually very fucking deep. I recommend you meditate on that intensely. You do control the dead, but you do not control the dead. Because if you think that you're just, you know, the hot shit, just because you got a couple of legions, or just because you have this many years of experience doing necromancy, you're setting yourself up for downfall already before it even happens. Pride comes before destruction, right? So as you keep these things in mind, and as you work with the dead will see just by reading your aura that you understand these things, and it'll expedite the fucking process of your ascent to apotheosis. Another thing, if you notice, unlike most others in the magical community, it is very fucking rare for necromancers to get intimate or have beef with one another. That's because the death current is very fucking pure. It is composed of those who had egos, who had ego issues, and those who are humble, because the humble and the prideful die the same, right? And so necromancers, the reason throughout ages we have become so fucking powerful is because we learn through experience that yes, we have our own motives. Some is vengeance, some is anger, hate. Sometimes it's more positive things like you just want to ascend, you want to do your apotheosis, you see the good you can do with this. But we have learned to put our egos to the side and let death take care of whatever conflicts that we have. Now, that's not to say that necromancy is some altruistic bullshit at all. No sir, at all. There is a warfare aspect of necromancy, especially when you go about taking various territories for yourself, like the fucking graveyard and all that good shit. If you haven't read that book, I recommend you check it out by Var von Brennos. Very good book on like the not just the initiatic aspects of grave warding, but the warfare aspects as well. There is a time for everything. As much as I hate to use that quote, it's true. There is a time for war, and that is especially true in necromancy. Sometimes you have to put a motherfucker down. Plain and simple. It's life, right? It's a natural balance of life and death. Death is not always peaceful and altruistic. So you have to be as such. You have to move as death moves you in the moment. For you younger sorcerers and necromancers and shit getting into this, some of you may be going against other motherfuckers that's been in the gang, but somehow think they know it all just because of this, and this. Don't let that bother you. Don't let that frighten you. Do not underestimate your enemy. However, don't overestimate them at the same time. Again, death knows all and sees all. So the victory is already decided before the fucking conflict. This kind of goes into causality, time being an illusion, and all this other kind of shit. But we'll put a pin in that and get back to that in a little bit. Another thing you need to know is that death has so many different fucking aspects to it. It's ridiculous. In regards to Maya, the illusion, this 3D world, there's an aspect of death magic that deals with illusion, hiding things, revealing things, removing evidence, planting evidence supernaturally to try to do things like frame the corrupt, for example, and thus shift the tides of fate to where their luck and their wealth runs out and goes to you instead. There are different ways to use necromancy to manipulate this illusion, this 3D world, this matrix, in order to get what you desire. And it's not always in the way you might think. It's not always through summoning death essence and withering things that your goals are accomplished. When you get deep enough into the current, you start becoming like a ghost, a specter, so to speak. This is because not so much of the death essence per se, but because the death essence is starting to raise your vibration to the point to where you're not so much as affected by 3D or physical kind of things. In terms of magical warfare, this translates to motherfuckers attacking you that have a shit ton more experience, but because they're not vibrating where you're vibrating, it simply passes through you. It doesn't hit you. You don't get into no car accidents. Your family doesn't die. You don't get sick. None of that other kind of shit. It's due to the combination of the work you put in, all those years of work, ritual items, your talismans, and your own mindset and the death essence elevating your vibration at a very deep level. This can also translate into things like stealth, illusion, that kind of thing. Even to where some psionic aspects, such as bilocation, come in. You're in one area of the town, and yet somebody on the other side of town thought that they saw you somewhere. You feel me? You start to develop a deathly, I'm not going to say omnipresence, but that aspect is still there, because death is everywhere, right? Tracing from that, death is everywhere, but it's not apparent everywhere. I'm going to say that again. Death is everywhere, but it's not apparent everywhere. This goes into things like planes of existence and beings and societies beyond our own, to where they have learned to conquer death, whether it's through technology, medicine, spirituality, or just the natural process of evolution, where death does not exist there anymore, or is not apparent there anymore. The visual and the cyclic time effects of death have been shrouded with the veil of progress to make it appear like people do not die anymore in these other planes and motherfucking existences. However, as necromancers, it's our job, again, it's our job to reveal death in various places. Now, of course, with this, you have to use wisdom, because death is not just a natural force, but it's a supernatural force. It is a cosmic force. It is a super cosmic force, and therefore you move as it moves. As it is a super cosmic and universal and multiversal force, you do not have to be limited to the way things are. You do not have to be limited to the status quo of these other planes and other universes. When death moves you to send out rot, withering, open up sinkholes, or whatever it is as you travel throughout these planes, you do that shit. There's a reason. For example, this kind of goes into different timelines, versions of reality, and all that other kind of shit. But there's a version of Earth to where, because death does not yet exist, the Earth is constantly overpopulating itself. It's like a cancer, so to speak. And so, let's just say you as a necromancer, now this is not telling you to go do that, but you as a necromancer decide to fucking introduce death, whether it's through portals, gateways, sending out various beings, or whatever. You start to bring a balance, like Thanos. You snap your fucking fingers and boom, balance is presented and manifested. Sometimes in destructive ways, sometimes in creative ways, you feel me? So as you can see, there are many, many, many different aspects of necromancy that cross fucking dimensional lines and world lines and all that other kind of shit that most older necromancers have no fucking idea that it exists, because they're so entrenched in whatever system that they are working with that they lost spiritual, intelligent thought in regards to the multiverse and what's possible. You feel me? Or else they simply won't say it because somebody else will say it. You feel me? Another thing you need to know is that there is a objective spiritual reality. You know how in the occult community you hear people like Michael Ford and other people saying that your interpretations and your experiences are subjective? That is true. They are subjective. However, there is also a unified, multiversal experience of the spiritual world that you can tap into and that can be verified with others, even those who don't work with your system or current. There's a reason the various descriptions of the Loa, for example, have been consistent throughout the years, regardless of the form that they take. The basic descriptions remain the same. Even muggles, motherfuckers who don't work with that magic, have sometimes had visions and seen the exact descriptions of, let's say, Papa Legba, for example, or Papa Kalfu, and it's been verified that way. So, know that everything is not subjective. Everything does not depend on your subconscious interpretation of it in order for you to work with it or understand it. Otherwise, if it does, then you're in what's called delusion and illusion, because you're so stuck within your own reality that these things, may be possible for you and your reality, but objectively, it's not happening. You feel me? That's part of insight, the third eye, being able to fucking see what's what, see what's real, see what's not real. You feel me? So, I know this is a lot for some of you. It might be confusing, but if you keep going in your journey, you will come to understand it. So, that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Probably going to put out another one today. Maybe not, but it just depends. So, if you enjoyed this video, like, share, subscribe. what other typical stuff I'm supposed to say. Check out my Patreon. We added new videos and services there for those who desire ritual work. If you want ritual work, my links are down below in the description. And that's going to be it for today. Oh, and also, I'm glad I remembered. Shout out to Marcus Reeves, the guy that be adding good knowledge, A+ fucking knowledge to the videos. Shout out to you, homie, for real. Thank you for the knowledge. I'm going to address some of the stuff you type soon, probably in the next video. So until then, have a good day, stay safe, beware these fucking zombies out here, and hey, have a good day. Peace.